Hey, this is Vu, and today I'm going to be talking about practicing as a team. And this is something that actually I think newer and lower level teams as a whole almost always screw up in some way. And it's something that I actually had a lot of problems kind of putting words to in the past, but I've kind of figured it out at this point. And what it really is new teams kind of end up playing just to play. And what I mean by that is they're not working on their individual play. They're not really thinking about ways they can improve themselves or their teammates or things they could do in the future to make themselves better. All they're doing is going through the motions, playing round after round after round, and hoping that everybody kind of just figures something out on their own. And I think this is a huge mistake. I think as a strat caller or a team leader, whoever's kind of figuring this thing out, you should be trying to make sure that every practice you go into, your team is focusing on something to improve. So for example, my last team I was on, they had a big problem actually with making plays. So we'd go down, 4-on-3 or something, and they were so worried about making a mistake that they wouldn't make an actual play. And by doing so, we would lose a round, and that was a mistake in itself. So we went into multiple practices where I said, look, all this game, if we're ever down a man or in any disadvantageous situation that you feel like we've lost map control, whatever, feel free to make any play you want. And of course, eventually I toned this back just a little bit if people were being over aggressive. However, the goal of this was to improve our play as a whole and to kind of take a few days where we might get into a lot of bad situations. We might lose a few scrims because of it, just so that we can be better in the future. And this is the type of thing that people need to be focusing on more. Go into every day with an idea that you want to be focusing on, whether it be communication, be a certain type of play that you want to do more or less. Focus on it and make sure your team knows that you want to focus on it. Now, the other thing I like to do is mid-round. Don't be afraid to just tell your team if they did something wrong, or tell your team that you wanted to do something differently, or talk to your team about what went wrong in a strategy. For example, if you're doing a default and your guy at B dies, you can say, what's happening at B? In the future, I want you to do X, Y, Z. In the future, I want the default reaction to this setup. So for example, if their team 5-man rushes B on an anti-eco and you see them do that, you can say, in future, I want this to be reacted to in this way. So for example, I want us to instantly push out middle, or I want us to instantly push A, or something like that. I want this player to rotate and all these other players to do this. And by doing that, you're taking out a little bit of the factor where your teammates have to actually think about what they're doing, and instead all they're doing is they're kind of just like, okay, we've done this before, I know how to react to this. And that way your practice is actually effective. You're not just playing just to play. And when you play just to play, you end up going into matches, if you're playing matches, I assume you are, where you're still kind of just playing it as if you would never practice before in your life. However, if you go in it with this, where you see something happen and you mention what you would like to be the default play there, everybody knows what they're doing in these situations, and you know, more importantly, what your teammates are doing in these situations. So it's easier for you to react, it's easier for you to play off of your teammates, and it's easier for you to win games. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.